Every time a new piece of software or hardware is released, such as the latest Tonex from the fine folks at IK Multimedia, there is a bit of a learning curve to figuring out how all the ins and outs work. Sometimes there's some confusion, and because of what I do here on the channel, I do have a lot of correspondence with folks who ask me questions on how this works, how that works, how they can fix this or fix that. So I get a little bit of better insight than a lot of folks in how people are using their software and their hardware and what certain problems arise. Now, one pretty major problem that I've seen is that a lot of folks are a little bit confused between tone models and presets within Tonex, whether we're talking about Tonex software or Tonex pedal. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the difference between these things, and hopefully it will just straighten out and clear up a little bit about how the whole ecosystem works so that you can make sure that you are actually using your software and Tonex pedal hardware in the best way possible for your situation. So let's head over to Tonex software first of all and take a look at today's topic. All right, so here we are over in Tonex. Now, today I'm going to be doing two things. I'm going to show you about the tone model versus preset topic that I just discussed in the intro, but I'm also going to showcase for you this brand new set of tone models that I just created that are available on my website. There is a free preset available both on ToneNet. I will have the link below to that. Please go to ToneNet, give me a follow there, download the presets, and if you don't mind, give them a thumbs up, and that'll help spread the word about those particular free tone models. You can grab those. There'll also be a link from my website if you prefer to download it directly from my website, and there will be a full bundle available if you really like the tones and you want to help support my channel. You might ask what this amp model is. Well, it is this amp right here behind me. Not sure if it's showing up on camera, but it is the Dr. Z Z-Rec Junior amp, and I have to say this just may be one of my favorite amps of all time. This is an absolutely spectacular amp, and these tone models turned out just beautifully. Later in the video, I'm going to play you a demo in the mix of how these tone models sound. I couldn't stop playing them. I just fell in love with them. It's just such an incredible array of tones. So I'm going to demo some of those for you today, but let's get back to our topic at hand here, tone model versus presets. So for anybody who's used the Tonex software, you'll notice here that when we are on the tone model tab, we obviously have whatever tone models we have in our Tonex software. Depending on what level of Tonex we have, that will change with what we have access to and our ability to utilize those. We can also import third-party tone models, such as the ones that I have on my website, and I'll show you how you can import those as well. But basically a tone model here in this tab is going to be just the default settings of that tone model as it was captured. You'll notice here there's no noise gate on, no compressor. There is an amp and a cab if that's how the original Tonex model was captured. There's no reverb, and the advanced parameters are all at their default setting. So I can come in here and basically play with this. This is an IK Multimedia tone model of a PRS Archon 50 amp through a Mesa Recto horizontal cab. Now you'll notice I'm playing my Strat style Vigier Expert guitar, one of my favorite guitars when I need a Strat style guitar. So as I go through these and try these out, I am playing the settings on this tone model as it was originally captured by IK Multimedia. That's fine. Everything's great. But you might say, well, I don't really want it like that. I want to add some compression to it, and I want to add some reverb to it. So let's say that we played something like 3 o'clock meeting here, which is a Mesa Boogie F50 through a Mesa Boogie F50 cab. We might say that sounds fine, but it's kind of low in volume, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn the compressor on. I'm going to use it in post. I'm going to bring my threshold up until it's just peaking on some of my hardest hits. That's fine. I'm going to lower the attack so it really kicks in and cuts off the transients. Maybe bring that threshold back a little. All right, good. Now, since I am using this in post after the amp, I'm going to use the gain control here to maybe bring our level up. And there you have it. I'm happy with that. And let's say I also want to add just a little bit of reverb. I'll come back here with the room reverb set on with the time on 3. Maybe Mix of 20 and pre-delay is up around 20 as well. Fine, that seems to be a little more usable sound. Now, I haven't messed with the tone model, but if I wanted to, I could come in here and say, you know, I want to add a little bit of presence and pull out a little bit of depth. All right, great. Now, when we're happy with that and we want to save those settings so we can recall them, I can go here and I can come into Save Preset. Now, you'll notice the preset name is defaulting back to one of my presets, so I don't want that to go in there. I also don't want this to be labeled as one of my premium presets. The author is IK Multimedia. Let's just call this 3 o'clock meeting JS, knowing it's my preset that I tweaked. And I click on that. Now, if I go over to my preset tab, you'll notice that I have that now. So I can now recall that tone model at any time with my settings, with all of the things that I showed you I did to it. Not saying that those are right or wrong. It's just how I decided in this moment. Now, if I switch to a different preset, you'll notice the compressor goes off. The reverb has totally different settings. Right? Wherever that preset came from, that was one that was included with Tonex. If I go back to my preset now, I go back to my settings that I made for this particular tone model. Now, if I go back to tone model, what's interesting is these changes that I made will remain as I switch through other tone models. You'll notice that the amp and cab changed, but all of the other changes I made, presence, depth, reverb, post compressor, those all remain. So as I scroll through these, you're going to see that those settings remain the same. Now, this can be a good thing or a bad thing because I could have boosted the gain up quite a bit because this had a fairly low level. So now if I go to something that has a lot more gain, now you can notice down here on my output meter, I'm clipping. This is way too loud. I don't want that. So I would have to come into my compressor, bring that gain back down into a range that's going to make more sense. And maybe I don't even want a compressor on this. Right? So we have to be very careful about that. So all of these changes we make as we go through tone models are going to stay the same. I actually kind of like that feature so that I'm not always having to go up and return on the reverb, return on the noise gate, return on the compressor, and so on and so forth. But if we come to the preset tab, all of those changes we have stored in the preset are going to remain. You'll notice the compressor goes back on. So basically the preset is where we want to take the tone model and tweak it to our liking. As I've talked about in other videos, maybe we want to tweak the advanced parameters. Maybe we want to add some compression. Maybe we want to add some reverb. Maybe we want to take that off, and we don't want it to always stay the same from preset to preset. We can simply save it as a new preset and then access it as a preset. Now, when we are loading in third-party presets, kind of like the presets that I have on my website, a lot of people are confused on how to do that. It is not done via the tone model tab. If we come to the tone model tab and right-click on any of these existing tone models, nothing happens. If I go to preset and right-click, it gives me the ability to export that preset, import preset, or delete that preset. So if I come in here and I say import preset, it now can take me over to where I have my preset packs here, and I'll just go to my new Rect Z Ultimate, which is the preset pack that's just released. The link is below, and I'll let you hear some of these. I'm just going to select all of these. Now, I already have these imported into Tonex, but I'm just using this as an example. When I do this, it's going to ask me if I want to overwrite them since they already exist, and I'll just say yes. So now what's happened is I have these presets inside my Tonex. I've imported them. What also happens though is the actual raw tone model is also imported. So you'll notice here, if I go to any of these presets, let's say I went to Rect Z Alt 2, when you import it, you're going to get all of my settings, my noise gate, my compressor, the level I've set this at, and this is going to sound like this. Such a gorgeous tone. I just loving these, and they go up in gain level. This here, Alt 1, that is the one that is available up on ToneNet at the link below or on my website at the other link below. But all of this bundle here is going to not only include the Rect Z Ultimate, but if I search here, you will see that they also include DI captures of those same settings without cabs. Some folks really like to work that way. Now, if I import this preset and I come over to Tone Model and I say, well, I'm going to check out what the raw tone model is like, I can't do that because I don't necessarily know what it is. I have all of the reverb and post compressor and everything. But if I just simply come to reset chain, bam, you'll notice noise gate, compressor, reverb all turned off. All of our advanced parameters are set back to default, and we have our raw tone model as it was captured. If we want to come back over to preset, we reselect the preset and we get all the goodies that kind of are attached to it as the preset. So I hope that that clears up the difference between the tone model versus the preset. Now, downloading from ToneNet is interesting because I've only just recently tried this. I don't use other people's tones. I make my own. I'm extremely happy with the way mine sounds. So I really haven't used ToneNet other than to upload to ToneNet. But as an example, notice the settings I have on my preset here. When we go to ToneNet, all we are doing is downloading. Here's my JS Rect Z Ultimate 1. I don't know why that little character got messed up, but anyways, it is. I don't know if I can change that. I just uploaded this just a couple of minutes ago. There's 6 downloads, 3 thumbs up. Please go and grab it. Give it a download. Give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. Give me a follow. There I am right there in the little circle. So if I want this, I would click on it. Now, I can't download this because obviously I already have it. But if I go to somebody else's model, you'll see the little arrow here. I can download it. But as I'm playing around with this, this is obviously terrible sounding because it doesn't have a cab on it. I am getting all of my other settings that I had for the preset that I had up there. Reverb, compression, noise gate. So again, be very careful. We may not want those things on, and we may want to just reset the chain like so to hear what that tone model is without all those settings that I dialed in for my other tone. But we could also come up here, click cab, and choose a cab for this. And I'm just choosing one of my impulse responses. Very low in volume, we'll crank that up. Not really a tone I'm too fond of, but I just wanted to pick one on here and tell you that we have to be careful of the settings we have. So if I go out of ToneNet, go to one of my presets here, let's say Rect Z Ultimate 3. And then I head over to ToneNet. When I'm trying these out, they're all going to have the same reverb, compression, noise gate, and advanced parameter settings as I change. So if I was on my tone model over here and I made a tweak to it where I said I'm going to bring the depth up and the presence way down. Not going to be the way I really want it to sound, but just make those changes. I head over to ToneNet and I sample one of these. Those changes are going to remain. So I'm not necessarily hearing what this sounds like in its raw form. I would have to come up here, reset chain, then listen to that tone model, which is extremely quiet. You'd probably have to come up and... So that's how it works with ToneNet and a few things you want to be careful of. Now, again, coming back to my Rect Z Ultimate, here is the first level of gain on this. Really nice stuff. Again, that's the one that is available on ToneNet. You can grab that, give it a thumbs up, give me a follow over there. We progress up through different gain levels and different settings on the amp. Just some of my favorite tones. So this is also going to include the DI'd versions of these. If we choose one of those, obviously we don't have a cab in there, so they're gonna sound pretty awful, as any cabless captures will. But I wanted to include those because so many folks have told me that they really enjoy having the DI also. But the ultimate tones here sound just incredible. Now let's take a listen to them with some different guitars. This was a Strat style guitar playing through it. Now I have my A Tele style guitar, which really suits these tones amazingly well. And finally, we might think maybe this isn't going to work well with humbucker pickups, but it actually works really nicely. Now I'm playing my Gibson SG. So really, truly some of my favorite tones. And I have to say, I did tons of tests with this compared to recording the amp with the same chain, and these sound identical. So now you guys can also have a Dr. Z Z-Rec Junior amp captured just beautifully for your Tonex software and Tonex pedal. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that look at tone models versus presets, and I hope that that was very helpful, and I hope it clears up some misconceptions that some folks have. I'd love to let you hear these new Rect Z tone models in a mix. I put together this pseudo country-ish little ditty, playing around with my Tele through these. These are all untouched in the mix. There's the little bit of reverb and compression from the preset. The lead, I think I may have added just a dab of delay in the mix, but on my website on the demo video, I play all of the soloed tracks as well without any other processing, just basically as they are in the mix. But it's nice to hear them both in the mix and out of the mix. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, please go down below. You can either download the free preset from my website, the link below, or on ToneNet. If you do go to ToneNet, please give me a thumbs up, give me a follow over there. And I also have the full bundle available at my website if you're so inclined to get all of these tones. I really think you're going to enjoy them. I just couldn't stop playing through them. They were so much fun to play with and felt so great with so many different guitars, and I hope that you guys enjoy them as well. Thank you again so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video and please share it with anybody who you think would get some enjoyment or use out of watching it. And also please subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back very soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.